everybody. It's me, Timmy Flyers Guy. Welcome to the Orange and Black Recap. I got lots of things to say. The first, I have an announcement about my podcast. I wrote down that I wasn't going to do the podcast because of all the rumors that were going on about the Philadelphia Flyers this week. And not just that, I was also recovering from the COVID shot. So, I'm probably going to be doing another podcast episode the week of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving week, I will be back with the 75 Chat podcast. I wanted to take a little break from the podcast for a while. Just to give myself a little break. But, I will be back the week of Thanksgiving. So, around that time, I will be back. I either might come back with the podcast next week or the week of Thanksgiving. So, hopefully, I'll be back soon with the podcast. With that being said, I got a lot to say. I got a lot to express. I got a lot to talk about. I got a lot to unfold here on Orange Black Recap. Let's take the Philadelphia Flyers faced off against the Edmonton Oilers. Flyers, they give up the first goal. The difference is they play well. They always seem to give up that first goal. And that's been a problem this season. They gave up the first goal. And then the second period, Flyers finally tied up on the power play. And Matthew Michkov ties it up at 1-1. Flyers go into the third period and all hell breaks loose. Dan Dorgas ran into by the Edmonton Oilers players. And then a fight just breaks out. Flyers end up getting a power play at all, but they don't cash in. It looked like Konechny had taken the lead for the Flyers late, but unfortunately, the play was offsides. The league reviewed the play, and it was offsides, and they waved off the goal. Now, I'm not going to argue with that call, because on the replay, he was offsides. Unfortunately, he was offsides, and it kind of sucks. But even though they were right about the call, I really think that the situation around in Toronto has been breathing down the Flyers' necks all season. And it seems like every time the Flyers try to do well, the people in Toronto, in a situation where I'm starting to realize that maybe Chelsea Green and Ethan Page work for the situation around because I don't know what's going on. They overturned that goal. And they overturned that goal. And it was a tough thing to happen for the Philadelphia Flyers. It looked like they had the lead once again. This is what was similar to the Carolina Hurricanes game. The only difference between that game is that game went into overtime. The Flyers thought they screwed into the game. And then they restarted it, and then the Flyers had to come back on the ice. And I had a similar feel to that game against Carolina, but there seems to be a theme here with the Flyers. Every time something like that happens to them, they seem to come back and play better. Case in point, Flyers, they lose to Carolina. They think they won in overtime. Goals overturned, Carolina wins it in overtime. And then after that, the Flyers come home and they beat the Florida Panthers. So I think this Flyers team is a good bounce back team, and I think they're going to be okay. You know, a lot of people are probably upset with the outcome. I am too. I know a lot of people are probably saying like that the Flyers failed. Flyers failed during the game, but you know what happens, and I have to be honest with you. I have to be very honest about Cam York. I may have upset a few people, but I don't think he is the guy for this team. Last night, he made a huge boneheaded mistake last night. And Edmonton, they went into overtime and they beat us 2-1. I gotta tell you, there's no excuse for that. That cannot happen in a game like that. And I know that, luckily, this wasn't a game against a rival or anything like that. Because if you would have done that in a game against the Devils or a game against the Islanders or the Rangers or the Bruins, I guarantee you that you won't be on the team if he does something like that again, because you cannot make a mistake like that in overtime. And there seems to be some miscommunication between players in overtime. And I think Rick Hackett needs to address that. I'm not criticizing him. This is only just how I feel. I think he needs to evaluate that. And I think he needs to address it. And, you know, I hope that Cam York has taken accountability on what he did last night. But you cannot do that in a situation like that. Flyers had a chance to get the 2 points, and this game was similar to the, I wouldn't say similar to the Ottawa game. There is a big difference in this game. In the Ottawa game, Flyers were just playing from behind the entire game. They were lucky enough to come from behind, but I'd rather see this team play in front of the lead. It just seems like what I think it is the Flyers. I think they have a tendency. I think they're scared of getting screwed on first. I think they're very tentative, and I feel like in games they try too hard. They hold their sticks too hard, and I really think they're trying to get that first goal, and they're trying so much to get that first goal. It seems like they're trying not to make any mistakes. And sometimes when you try too hard, you make the slightest mistake, and it can cost you the lead. I want to see this team play in front. I want to see this team get more shots on goal. I don't know why it's not helping. Why they're not doing it. I don't understand what is going on, but I honestly think Rick Hackett can figure this out. I mean, I've noticed this season, whenever a player comes back from injury, we always seem to lose a game. I've noticed that last night, Tyson Foerster came back, and because the Flyers were so used to playing without him for 4 games, I feel like the structure has changed. And I think the Flyers need to get back to basics. And they need to get, reaccustomed to the way Foerster plays. Also, I really gotta say, you cannot put this loss on Dan Vladar. Dan Vladar stood on his head last night. He was still earning that. The only thing is that Cam York mistake, and every time cost his team a huge 2 points last night. But I'm gonna say it right now. I know there's a lot of people that are probably getting frustrated with the Flyers. A lot of people who think this might be the end of the world, and a lot of people that might think the sky is falling. Well, the words of Eminem, I used to be the type of guy that used to think the sky was falling. That's how I used to feel back in the day. But you know what? I don't have time to complain. I don't have time to make excuses. And I don't have time to really care what people think about me. Because if I waste my time caring what people think about me, or care what people think of my hockey team, then I'm not gonna have enough time to do the things I want. So I gotta tell you, it was a tough loss last night. But like I said, I'm not giving up. I'm not gonna fold. I'm not gonna run and hide. Yeah, this path of positivity, there's been some bumps in the road. I'll admit that. Yeah, the thing about me is, the thing about me is, I know the world isn't all sunshine and rainbows. I know that it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but I also know that I'm also positive about my hockey team. You know, sometimes in life, you're gonna get knocked down. You know, Rocky Balboa lost the fight. But hopefully next game, I hope the Flyers come out there like Rocky Balboa at the end of Rocky 3. And that's winning the game. And hopefully the Flyers can get it done tomorrow night. But they will face off with the St. Louis Blues. Like I said, I'm not giving up. Flyers hockey's my life. Flyers hockey is what I'm passionate about. And would I give it up? No. Hell no. I would never give it up for anything. People want to tell me, you know, I used to have people give me a hard time about the Flyers back in the day. But you know what? When I look back at all that, and that motivates me. That gives me the fire and the desire to support my hockey team. The words of Dusty Rhodes, sometimes you gotta have hard times. Hard times, Daddy. But sometimes you gotta rise above those hard times. You gotta rise above those hard times. You gotta go out there and you gotta show people that you ain't gonna give up. You gonna believe in yourself, baby. So like I said, I believe in myself, but I also believe in my hockey team. I also believe in this fan base. I don't just do this for me. This path of positivity is not just about me. I do this for everyone. And to see that this path of positivity is something I came up with. Not just for me, but for the great Philadelphia Flyers fans in this city. The diehard fans. The fans who go to games in blizzards and stuff. And all the people that go out there to see their team. I believe in this team is going to get things right. They're going to get through this. I believe things are going to be alright. I don't only believe in myself. I believe in my city. I believe in my team. And I believe in Flyers hockey. And I'll never stop believing in Flyers hockey. People are going to tell me tonight that there's going to be people that want me to give up. There's going to be people that want me to throw in the towel. But let me tell you something. Every Flyers guy does not throw in the towel. Philadelphia does not throw in the towel. And Philadelphia does not quit. And I don't want to hear, and you know what? If people want to say things, if they want to make dumb jokes about the Flyers, if they want to have their little comedy hours about the Philadelphia Flyers, be my guest. If people are going to say what they want, people are going to do what they want, and people are going to say what they want. I can't stop people from saying what they want, and I can't stop people from thinking the way that they want. And I respect their convictions. I don't agree with the way people go about Philly sports, but I do respect their convictions. To tell you the truth, I'm not giving up on this team. Flyers hockey is my life. My whole room is based on Flyers hockey. Not just my whole room. But, Flyers hockey is one of my biggest inspirations in life. It's helped me get through so many hard times in my life. And when I almost lost my life in 2017, it made me realize how precious life is. And even though the Flyers lost last night, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not going to worry about it because there are bigger things in this world to worry about. Not just the sport. But there are bigger things in this world to worry about. I'm not going to worry. I'm going to keep the faith. And I'm going to continue to support my hockey team. And I don't care who likes it. And I don't care what people think of me or my hockey team. I'm doing it my way. You do it your way. I won't worry about you, and you won't worry about me. I'm Timmy Flyers guy, and this has been the Orange and Black Recap. I will see you on Friday I'll see you on Saturday when I recap the Philadelphia Flyers St. Louis Blues game. Not really sure what pregame show that'll be on, but we'll find out later tomorrow. Guys, thank you for joining me, and have a great day, everyone. And remember, when life knocks you down, you gotta get right back up, like Rocky Balboa at the end of Rocky 3.